Hello and welcome back to the 2028 primary elections. Both Republicans and Democrats are lining up several candidates to determine who will lead the party post Donald Trump, lead their respective parties post second term of Donald Trump. And now let's take a look at national polling. As you can see here on the Republican side, former Florida Governor Ron DeSantis leads the pack of Republicans at 22%, Texas Senator Ted Cruz at 16%, New Hampshire Governor Chris Sununu at 15%, Missouri Senator Josh Hawley at 12%, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance at 11%, North Carolina Governor Mark Robinson at 9%, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley at 7%, Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton at 5%, Oklahoma Governor T.W. Shannon at 2%, and South Carolina Governor Shan Massey at 1%. Now let's go over to the Democrat side of things, where current New York Governor Kathy Hochul is currently leading the pack of Democrats vying to take control of the party post Joe Biden, and she leads the pack at 21%. Massachusetts Senator Joe Kennedy in second at 19%. Texas Governor Steve Adler, who won a shocking upset over incumbent Greg Abbott in the 2026 Democrat midterms, at 14%. Rhode Island Senator Matt Brown at 12%. New York City Mayor Eric Adams at 9%. New Jersey Senator Cory Booker at 7%. Hawaii Governor Tulsi Gabbard at 4%. California Senator Kevin De Leon at 3%. And the bottom four, we have Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar at 3%. Washington Governor Bob Ferguson at 3%. California Congressman Ro Khanna at 2%. And another California Congressman, Eric Swalwell, at 1%. Now let's head to the first primary of the season, and that's going to be the Iowa primaries. And on the Republican side, we can project that Ron DeSantis is the projected winner. He will win a plurality of the delegates over in Iowa, winning 22% of the vote. Ted Cruz will win 20% of the vote, someone who won this state back in the 2016 primaries. He won the state, now he's in second. Josh Hawley wins 17%. J.D. Vance wins 15%. Chris Sununu wins 10%. Mark Robinson at 5%. Nikki Haley at 2%. Tom Cotton, T.W. Shannon, and Shane Massey all at 1%. Now taking a look at the delegates won, Ron DeSantis will pick up 12 of Iowa's delegates. Ted Cruz wins 11 delegates. Josh Hawley wins 9 delegates. J.D. Vance wins 8 delegates. And the rest of the candidates win no delegates. And here's the county map on your screen right now. Now taking a look at the Democrat side of things, we can predict a very massive upset here, with Rhode Island Senator Matt Brown winning Iowa, a big victory for progressives and Matt Brown as he wins a plurality of the state's delegates, winning 21% of the vote. Steve Adler at 19%, another big upset. He wasn't expected to be in the top two, but he is. Joe Kennedy, who was leading in polling, is at 17%, and Kathy Hochul at 14%. Amy Klobuchar at 9%, Eric Adams at 2%, Cory Booker, Tulsi Gabbard, Kevin De Leon, Bob Ferguson, Ro Khanna, and Eric Swalwell all at 1%. Now the delegates won. Matt Brown wins 15 delegates, Steve Adler wins 14 delegates, and Joe Kennedy wins 12 delegates, with the rest of the candidates all winning 0 delegates each. Now here's the county map on your screen right now. Matt Brown winning most of the counties on the west side, while Steve Adler wins most of the counties on the east side, and Joe Kennedy winning lots of the counties here and there. And now we have some news as Governor Tulsi Gabbard, Governor Tulsi Gabbard ends her 2028 presidential run, and she is endorsing Joe Kennedy over the rest of the field, which is a surprise. Many were expecting her to endorse Matt Brown, but she is choosing Joe Kennedy to endorse. Senator Amy Klobuchar is also announcing the end of her presidential run, as she is announcing that she will be endorsing Steve Adler going forward. Now we have the New Hampshire primaries to take a look at. Now we can project that, no surprise here, Chris Sununu will end up winning a plurality of the delegates in New Hampshire, winning 36% of the votes. Ted Cruz will win 18%, Ron DeSantis will win 13%, J.D. Vance will win 4%, Josh Hawley will win 3%, Mark Robinson will win 2%, Nikki Haley, Tom Cotton, T.W. Shannon, and Shane Massey all win 1%. Now Chris Sununu will be awarded 13 of the delegates, while Ted Cruz will be awarded 9 delegates, and the rest of the field will get 0 delegates. And here's the county map on your screen. Chris Sununu sweeping every single county except Coos County, that which is won by Ted Cruz very narrowly. Now on the Democrat side, Kathy Hochul, after winning nothing from Iowa, will end up with a comeback here in New Hampshire, winning the state by a plurality, winning 25% of the vote. Joe Kennedy will win 20%. Matt Brown wins 16%, Eric Adams at 12%, Steve Adler at 4%, a massive underperformance by Steve Adler. Cory Booker at 3%, Kevin DeLeon at 2%, Bob Ferguson at 1%, Ro Khanna at 1%, and Eric Swalwell at 1%. Kathy Hochul will walk away winning 9 delegates, Joe Kennedy will win 8 delegates, and Matt Brown will win 7 delegates, with the rest of the field winning nothing. And here's the county map on your screen now. Kathy Hochul winning most of the counties that are connected to New Hampshire, connected to New York. Kennedy winning most of the counties connected to Massachusetts, and Matt Brown winning the one county connected to Rhode Island. So a very territorial county map, as you can see here. And we can now make the announcement that Mayor Eric Adams has ended his 2028 presidential run, and he's endorsing fellow New Yorker Kathy Hochul for the White House. Senator Cory Booker announces he will also be ending his 2028 run. He will be endorsing Joe Kennedy. This was highly expected. Booker and Kennedy were kind of seen politically close to each other, slightly liberal political nationalists, left-wing nationalists, which is very different from the norm in the Democrat Party. And going on to Nevada, we can project that Ron DeSantis will be the plurality winner in the state of Nevada, winning 24% of the vote. Ted Cruz will win 20%. Josh Hawley wins 16%. Chris Sununu wins 12%. J.D. Vance at 8%. Mark Robinson at 4%. Nikki Haley at 3%. Tom Cotton at 2%. Shannon and Massey both at 1%. And as on your screen now, you can see that Ron DeSantis will win 10 delegates. Ted Cruz will win 8 delegates, and Josh Hawley will win 7 delegates, with the rest of the field winning nothing. And here's the county map on your screen now. DeSantis doing very well with Hispanics in the state, winning both Reno and Clark County, just very heavily Hispanic areas that DeSantis is crushing it in, with Cruz doing better in the non-Hispanic, plurality white rural districts, and Hawley winning a sole rural county in Nevada, in central Nevada. And on the Democrat side, Steve Adler will make a shocking victory here in the state of Nevada. He was in 3rd place in polling, but shot up to 1st place, winning 30% of the vote. Matt Brown at 22%, Joe Kennedy at 19%, and Kathy Hochul, who was in 1st in polling, is in 4th at 16%. And now, on the bottom 4 candidates, Kevin DeLeon at 2%, Bob Ferguson at 1%, Ro Khanna at 1%, as well as Eric Swalwell at 1%. And now, as you can see on your screen now, Steve Adler will walk away winning 12 delegates, Matt Brown will win 9 delegates, Joe Kennedy will win 8 delegates, and Kathy Hochul will win 7 delegates, with the rest of the candidates winning nothing. And here's the county map on your screen now, Adler winning the most populated counties in Nevada to secure his victory in the state. And now we have some withdrawals to announce. Senator Leon will be ending his 2028 presidential run. He will be backing Matt Brown, another progressive in the race. He is kind of the leading progressive in the race, as we have 2 moderates, one anti-establishment, one establishment, a progressive, and a left-wing nationalist in the field currently. Governor Bob Ferguson is ending his 2028 run. He is announcing that he will be supporting Kathy Hochul for the White House. Congressman Ro Khanna will be ending his 2028 run, and shockingly will be endorsing Matt Brown. Many people thought he would endorse Kennedy, but he is instead endorsing Matt Brown for the White House. Congressman Eric Swalwell will be ending his 2028 run, and he is also going to be supporting Kathy Hochul going forward. And in the South Carolina primary, we can announce that Ron DeSantis, which many people thought Nikki Haley would do better in the state, however, she has just been polling abysmally, not even in the top 4 candidates, which she was kind of a non-factor in South Carolina, really. She does get quite a bit of the vote for a bottom-tier candidate, but still, she's kind of become irrelevant in South Carolina politics to the point where she's not even a contender anymore. But Ron DeSantis will win 24% of the vote. Ted Cruz wins 20%. Josh Hawley wins 12%. J.D. Vance wins 10%. Nikki Haley wins 8%. Mark Robinson wins 7%. Chris Sununu wins 6%. Shane Massey wins 4%. Tom Cotton wins 3%. And T.W. Shannon wins 2%. And Ron DeSantis will end up walking away with 26 delegates, and Ted Cruz will win 24 delegates, and the rest of the field will win nothing. And here's the county map on your screen now. And over on the Dem side, Steve Adler, with the momentum from winning the Nevada primary, will also win the South Carolina primary, as he will win 33% of the vote. Kathy Hochul will walk away with 27% of the vote, Joe Kennedy at 22%, and Matt Brown at 16%, All 4 of these candidates will be winning delegates. Steve Adler will win 18 delegates, Kathy Hochul wins 15 delegates, Joe Kennedy wins 12 delegates, and Matt Brown wins 9 delegates. Here's the county map on your screen now. Kathy Hochul doing very well with the black voters here in the state of South Carolina. And we can now announce that Governor Mark Robinson has ended his 2028 presidential run, and he is endorsing Ron DeSantis for the White House. And former Ambassador Nikki Haley is also ending her 2028 run, and shockingly, instead of endorsing Ted Cruz or Ron DeSantis, is endorsing Chris Sununu, a kind of a long shot for the White House, but maybe has a path through the anti-Trump Northeast, as the anti-Trump states as well as the Northeast. Maybe he has a pathway. Who knows? Senator Tom Cotton will also be ending his 2028 run, as he will be endorsing Ron DeSantis, which many people thought he would endorse Ted Cruz, but isn't choosing DeSantis instead. Governor T.W. Shannon is ending his 2028 run, and he, instead of endorsing DeSantis, which, many assumed he would, he's endorsing Ted Cruz, a neighbor to his state of Oklahoma, so he's endorsing Ted Cruz over Ron DeSantis. Governor Shane Massey will be ending his 2028 run as well, and doing what many people thought T.W. Shannon would do, endorsing Ron DeSantis. And here's the delegate count at the end of February. Ted Cruz is leading the pack despite not winning a single state at 52 delegates. Ron DeSantis at 48 delegates. Josh Hawley at 16 delegates. Chris Sununu at 13 delegates. And J.D. Vance at 8 delegates. And over on the Dem side, Steve Adler is leading the pack of 4 Democrats at 44 delegates. Matt Brown and Joe Kennedy tied at 40 delegates. And Kathy Hochul at 31 delegates. Now heading into Super Tuesday, out of the Alabama primary, Ron DeSantis is the projected winner, winning 28% of the vote. Ted Cruz wins 24%, Josh Hawley at 20%, Chris Sununu at 16%, and J.D. Vance at 12%. Ron DeSantis will end up winning 16 delegates, Ted Cruz at 14 delegates, Josh Hawley wins 11 delegates, and Chris Sununu wins 9 delegates, with J.D. Vance winning nothing. And here's the county map, I was about to skip ahead. And over on the Democrat side, Steve Adler, continuing his Southern dominance, ends up winning the Alabama primary, winning 32% of the vote. Kathy Hochul wins 26%, Joe Kennedy at 23%, and Matt Brown at 17%. Steve Adler walks away at winning 17 delegates. Kathy Hochul wins 14 delegates. Joe Kennedy wins 12 delegates, and Matt Brown wins 9 delegates. And here's the county map on your screen now. Out of the American Samoa's primary, Ron DeSantis will end up winning this, I can't say state, so I guess territory. He'll end up winning this territory, winning 44% of the vote. Ted Cruz at 22%, Josh Hawley at 11%, Chris Sununu at 10%, and J.D. Vance at 9%, with Ron DeSantis winning 6 delegates and Ted Cruz winning 3 delegates. On the Democrat side, Joe Kennedy will end up winning this territory and end up winning 50% of the vote. Kathy Hochul at 16%, Steve Adler at 15%, and Matt Brown at 14%, with Kennedy ending up winning 4 delegates and Hochul and Adler winning 1 apiece. Out of the Arkansas primary, Ron DeSantis is the projected winner, winning 30% of the vote in the state. Ted Cruz wins 25%, Josh Hawley wins 20%, Chris Sununu wins 15%, and J.D. Vance wins 10%. And on the delegate count, Ron DeSantis wins 13 delegates, Ted Cruz wins 11 delegates, Josh Hawley wins 9 delegates, and Chris Sununu wins 7 delegates. And here's the county map on your screen now. DeSantis dominating most of the state, with Ted Cruz winning, interesting enough, Pulaski County suburbs, which is very interesting to see. And over on the Arkansas primary, on the Dem side, continuing his southern dominance, Steve Adler will end up winning this a plurality of this primary, winning 35% of the vote. Kathy Hochul at 29%, Joe Kennedy at 19%, and Matt Brown at 16%. And Steve Adler wins 11 delegates, Kathy Hochul wins 9 delegates, Joe Kennedy wins 6 delegates, and Matt Brown wins 5 delegates. And here's the map on your screen now. And out of California's Republican primary, Ron DeSantis is the projected winner, winning 29% of the votes. Chris Sununu will win 25%. Ted Cruz wins 21%, Josh Hawley wins 14%, and J.D. Vance at 8%. DeSantis wins 65 delegates, Sununu wins 57 delegates, and Cruz wins 50 delegates. And here's the map on your screen now. DeSantis dominating in the suburban and rural areas of the state, with Sununu winning the more urban areas as well. Out of California's Democrat primary, Matt Brown will end up winning this very progressive state, winning 30% of the vote. Kennedy at 26%, Hochul at 24%, and Adler at 19%. Matt Brown walks away with 126 delegates, Kennedy wins 109 delegates, Hochul wins 100 delegates, and Adler wins 80 delegates. And here's the county map on your screen now, with Matt Brown dominating the more urban areas of the state, and Kennedy winning the more rural areas. Out of Colorado's Republican primary, Chris Sununu will end up winning this primary. One of the more anti-Trump states, Sununu wins 29% of the votes, Hawley wins 24%, Cruz wins 18%, DeSantis wins 16%, and Vance wins 10%. Sununu winning 12 delegates, Hawley winning 10 delegates, Cruz wins 8 delegates, and DeSantis wins 7 delegates. And here's the county map on your screen now, Sununu dominating the urban, suburban, and even rural counties, just winning a good chunk of everything in the state of Colorado. And over on the Dem side, Matt Brown will end up winning another very progressive state and winning 34% of the vote, Kennedy winning 25%, Hochul winning 20%, and Adler winning 19%. Brown wins 23 delegates, Kennedy wins 17 delegates, Hochul wins 14 delegates, and Adler wins 13 delegates, with Matt Brown dominating the urban and suburban areas. However, he does, interestingly enough, lose Detroit to Kennedy, which is always fun to see. And out of Maine's primary, Chris Sununu winning another northeastern state, defeating his opponents at 36% of the vote. DeSantis wins 22%, Cruz wins 18%, Hawley wins 13%, and Vance wins 9%. Sununu will end up winning 10 delegates, DeSantis wins 7, and Cruz wins 5. And here's the county map on your screen now, Sununu dominating most of the state. Now to Dems primary in Maine, Kathy Hochul will be the projected winner, winning 33% of the vote. Matt Brown wins 29%, Joe Kennedy wins 20%, and Adler wins 16%, with Hochul winning 8 delegates, Brown 7 delegates, Kennedy 5 delegates, and Adler 4 delegates. And here's the county map on your screen now, kind of a mix-match clusterfuck of results. Out of Massachusetts primary, Chris Sununu is the projected winner with the endorsement of former Governor Charlie Baker. He will end up winning 31% of the vote, DeSantis wins 24%, Cruz 19%, Hawley 14%, and Vance at 9%. And Chris Sununu will win 17 delegates, DeSantis wins 13 delegates, and Cruz wins 11 delegates. And here's the county map on your screen now. Out of Massachusetts Democrat primary, no surprise here, Joe Kennedy is the projected winner of his home state, winning 43% of the votes. Kathy Hochul will win 24%, Matt Brown wins 18%, and Steve Adler wins 13%. And Kennedy will end up winning 44 delegates, Hochul wins 26, and Matt Brown will win 21, while Steve Adler wins nothing. And here's the county map on your screen now, Kennedy doing a lot worse than he should in a state like Massachusetts, his home state. And out of Minnesota's Republican primary, Ron DeSantis is the projected winner, winning 30% of the vote. Ted Cruz wins 25%, Josh Hawley wins 17%, J.D. Vance wins 15%, and Chris Sununu wins 10%. DeSantis will walk away winning 13 delegates, Cruz with 11 delegates, Hawley wins 8 delegates, and Vance wins 7 delegates. Chris Sununu wins nothing. And here's the map on your screen now. And the Dem side for Minnesota, Joe Kennedy is the projected winner here, a big shocker as Matt Brown was leading in the polling. Kennedy wins 32% of the vote, Matt Brown at 29%, Adler at 21%, and Kathy Hochul at 17%. Kennedy winning 24 delegates, Matt Brown at 22 delegates, Steve Adler at 16 delegates, and Kathy Hochul at 13 delegates. And here's the county map on your screen, Kennedy winning a good majority of the counties. Out of North Carolina's primary, Ron DeSantis is the projected winner, bolstered by the governor's endorsement, winning 32% of the votes. Ted Cruz at 29%, Hawley at 15%, Vance at 12%, and Sununu at 9%. DeSantis will end up winning 29 delegates, Cruz wins 26 delegates, and Hawley wins 16 delegates, with Vance and Sununu winning nothing. And here's the map on your screen now. DeSantis doing very well with black voters, however, he does very poorly with the eastern coastal area of North Carolina, as well as the Appalachia Mountains of North Carolina. At the Dems North Carolina primary, Steve Adler will be the projected winner here, winning 31% of the votes. Kathy Hochul wins 27%, Joe Kennedy wins 23%, and Matt Brown wins 17%. Adler wins 35 delegates, Hochul wins 30 delegates, Kennedy wins 26 delegates, and Brown wins 19 delegates. And here's the map on your screen now. Adler dominating most of the counties on the map. Out of Oklahoma's primary, bolstered by their governor's endorsement, vice versa to North Carolina with Robinson and DeSantis, Ted Cruz is the victor here in the state, winning 32% of the vote. DeSantis wins 27%, Hawley wins 16%, Vance wins 13%, and Sununu wins 9%. And Cruz will end up winning 18 delegates, DeSantis wins 15 delegates, and Hawley ends up winning 10 delegates, with Cruz winning majority of the counties on your map now. On the Dems Oklahoma primary, Steve Adler is the projected winner, winning his neighboring state to his home state of Texas, winning 43% of the vote. Kathy Hochul wins 27%, Kennedy wins 18%, and Matt Brown wins 10%. Adler will walk away with 18 delegates, Hochul will win 11 delegates, and Kennedy will win 8 delegates, with Adler winning, again, a supermajority of counties here. And out of Tennessee's primary, Ron DeSantis is the projected winner, as he will win 31% of the vote here in the state. Cruz will win 24%, Hawley wins 17%, Vance wins 15%, and Sununu will win 12%. DeSantis wins 20 delegates, Cruz wins 16 delegates, Hawley wins 12, and Vance wins 10 delegates. Here's the county map on your screen now. DeSantis essentially sweeping most of the counties in the state. And now the Tennessee Democrat primary, Steve Adler is the projected winner. He will win 34% of the vote. Kathy Hochul wins 29%. Joe Kennedy wins 20%, and Matt Brown wins 15%. Adler walks away with 22 delegates. Hochul walks away with 19. Kennedy at 13, and Matt Brown at 10 delegates. And here's the county map on your screen now. Adler kind of breaking away the more west we get in the state. Out of Texas primary, no surprise here, Ted Cruz will win his home state, winning 42% of the votes. Ron DeSantis wins 30%, Josh Hawley at 10%, J.D. Vance at 9%, and Chris Sununu at 7%. Ted Cruz will end up winning 87 of his home state's delegates, and Ron DeSantis will win 68. And here's the county map on your screen now. Ted Cruz essentially dominating the entire state until we get to the Rio Grande Valley, where he kind of fluctuates in support. And out of Texas's Democrat primary, again, no surprise here, Steve Adler will win his home state, winning 48% of the vote, while Kathy Hochul wins 23%, Joe Kennedy wins 15%, and Matt Brown wins 12%. Steve Adler walks away with 120 delegates, a big prize for him. Kathy Hochul wins 63 delegates, and Joe Kennedy wins 45 delegates. And here's the county map on your screen now. Similar to Ted Cruz, Steve Adler has a very bad problem when it comes to the Rio Grande Valley that he's going to have to correct one of these days. And out of Utah's primary, Chris Sununu winning another very anti-Trump state. He will win this primary, winning 30% of the vote. Ron DeSantis wins 25%. Ted Cruz wins 20%. J.D. Vance surprisingly does very well and wins 15%. And Josh Hawley wins 10%. Chris Sununu will walk away winning 13 delegates, DeSantis wins 11 delegates, Cruz wins 9 delegates, and J.D. Vance wins 7 delegates. And here's the county map on your screen now. Sununu dominating the entire state. And out of Utah's Democrat primary, Joe Kennedy will end up winning here, winning 37% of the vote, Matt Brown at 27%, Steve Adler at 20%, and Kathy Hochul at 13%. Joe Kennedy will win 13 delegates, Matt Brown wins 9 delegates, and Steve Adler wins 7 delegates. And here's the county map on your screen now. And out of Vermont's primary, the governor, Phil Scott, endorsed Chris Sununu, saying that Phil Scott would vote, saying he would vote Republican if Sununu was the nominee, and that kind of bolstered Sununu's support here in the state. He'll win 41% of the vote here. Ron DeSantis wins 23%, Ted Cruz wins 17%, Josh Hawley wins 11%, and J.D. Vance wins 5%. Very poor performance for J.D. Vance. And Sununu will walk away winning 8 delegates, DeSantis wins 5 delegates, and Cruz will win 4 delegates. Here's the county map on your screen now. Cruz winning the most conservative county in Vermont, Essex County, if I'm not mistaken, while DeSantis wins a lot more of the suburban areas, and Sununu wins the rest of the more urban-ish, rural, the more dense rural areas, I guess you could say. And out of Vermont's Democrat primary, no surprise here, the most progressive state in the union, going to be voting for the most progressive candidate in the race, Matt Brown, as he wins 37% of the vote here, Joe Kennedy at 31%, Kathy Hochul at 18%, and Steve Adler at 12%. Matt Brown wins 7 delegates, Joe Kennedy wins 6 delegates, and Kathy Hochul wins 3 delegates. Here's the county map on your screen now. Out of Virginia's primary, Ron DeSantis is the projected winner. He will win 32% of the vote here. Ted Cruz wins 28%, Josh Hawley wins 16%, J.D. Vance wins 12%, and Chris Sununu wins 10%. DeSantis will walk away with 21 delegates, Cruz will walk away with 19 delegates, and Hawley wins 9 delegates. And here's the county map on your screen now, with DeSantis winning a huge influx of rural counties, while Cruz wins the more suburban-y, urban areas, and Hawley will just end up winning a fluctuation of mix of suburban and rural counties. And on the Dem side, Virginia will go to Steve Adler as he wins 36% of the vote. Kathy Hochul wins 26%, Joe Kennedy wins 21%, and Matt Brown at 16%. Adler will walk away with 36 delegates, Hochul wins 26 delegates, Kennedy wins 21 delegates, and Matt Brown wins 16 delegates. And here's the map on your screen now. And we now have some withdrawals from the race. Senator Josh Hawley will be ending his presidential run as he will be endorsing Ron DeSantis. DeSantis getting another endorsement from Josh Hawley. And J.D. Vance is also withdrawing from the race as he is endorsing Ron DeSantis as well. So both Hawley and DeSantis, senators from 2 key states in the primary, Missouri and Ohio, both supporting Ron DeSantis and his efforts to become president. And now we have results from Democrats abroad. Matt Brown will end up winning here. Will win nationwide as Matt Brown wins 38% of the vote. Joe Kennedy wins 30%, Steve Adler at 23%, and Kathy Hochul doing very poorly at 7%. Matt Brown ends up winning 6 delegates, Kennedy wins 4, Adler wins 3. Out of Idaho's primary, Ron DeSantis is the projected winner as he will win 43% of the vote. Ted Cruz wins 37%, and Chris Sununu wins 18%. DeSantis wins 14 delegates, Cruz wins 12, and Sununu wins 6. Here's the county map on your screen, very much a mixed-match clusterfuck of results. And out of Idaho's Democrat primary, Joe Kennedy is the projected winner, as he will win 35% of the vote. Adler wins 30%, Matt Brown wins 20%, and Hochul wins 15%. Kennedy will end up winning 7 delegates, Adler wins 6, Brown wins 4, and Hochul wins 3. Here is the results on your screen, and yet again another mixed-match clusterfuck results. Out of Michigan's primary, Ron DeSantis is the projected winner, winning a very key state at 47% of the vote, just 3 away from winning 50%, which would give him every single one of Michigan's pledged delegates. Ted Cruz at 32%, and Chris Sununu at 19%. DeSantis wins 35 delegates, Cruz wins 24, and Sununu wins 14. And here's the results on your map now. Ted Cruz doing very well in the urban suburban areas of Detroit, while Sununu does well in the Upper Peninsula and upper half of the Lower Peninsula of Michigan. Matt Brown will win the Democrat Michigan primary here in Michigan, as he will win 31%, Joe Kennedy at 25%, Steve Adler at 23%, and Kathy Hochul at 20%. Matt Brown wins 39 delegates, Kennedy wins 32 delegates, Adler wins 29 delegates, and Hochul wins 25 delegates. And here's the results on your screen now. Out of Mississippi's primary, Ron DeSantis is the projected winner here. He will win 48% of the votes. Ted Cruz wins 35%, and Chris Sununu wins 15%. DeSantis will walk away with 19 delegates, Cruz wins 14 delegates, and Sununu wins 6 delegates. And here's the result on your screen now. Ted Cruz doing very well in Michael Guest's former district, the former governor of Mississippi. Michael Guest throwing his support behind Ted Cruz instead of Ron DeSantis, one of the few governors in the state to do so. And on the Dem side, Steve Adler will win the state of Mississippi, winning 41% of the vote. Kathy Hochul wins 30%, Joe Kennedy wins 19%, and Matt Brown wins 8%. Adler will win 16 delegates, Hochul will win 12 delegates, and Kennedy will win 8 delegates. And here's this map on your screen now. Adler and Kennedy doing very well, splitting the black vote from each other. And out of Missouri's primary, Ron DeSantis will have a massive victory here in the state, winning 50% of the vote. Ted Cruz wins 35%, and Chris Sununu at 14%. Due to Josh Hawley's support for Ron DeSantis will walk away winning every single county in Missouri, a big victory for Ron DeSantis. And at a Missouri Democrat primary, Joe Kennedy will be the victor here. He will win 35% of the vote. Steve Adler wins 32%, Matt Brown at 17%, and Kathy Hochul at 14%. Kennedy will walk away winning 28 delegates. Adler will win 25 delegates. Matt Brown at 15 delegates. And here's the map on your screen now. Kennedy kind of slicing the state of Missouri in half, while Adler wins the more urban areas of the state. Adler winning the more rural areas. At a North Dakota's primary, Ron DeSantis is the projected winner, winning 37% of the vote. Ted Cruz wins 34%, and Chris Sununu wins 27%. DeSantis wins 11 delegates, Cruz wins 10 delegates, and Sununu wins 8 delegates. A lot more competitive than we once expected. And here's the county map on your screen now. Sununu doing very well in the more urban-y areas of the state, even though it's not really urban, it's more suburban, but you know. At a North Dakota's Democrat primary, Joe Kennedy will be the victor here, winning 35% of the vote, Matt Brown at 28%, and Steve Adler at 21%, Kathy Hochul at 14%. Kennedy will win 6 delegates, Matt Brown wins 5 delegates, Steve Adler wins 3, Hochul wins nothing. Here's the county map on your screen now. Out of Washington's primary, Chris Sununu is the projected winner, winning something on Super Tuesday 2. Winning 40% of the vote, DeSantis wins 31%, and Ted Cruz wins 27% of the votes. Chris Sununu wins 18 delegates, Ron DeSantis wins 14 delegates, and Ted Cruz wins 12 delegates. Here's the county map on your screen now. Out of Washington's primary, Matt Brown is the projected winner. He will win this very progressive state, winning 38% of the vote. Joe Kennedy wins 32%, Kathy Hochul wins 16 delegates, and Steve Adler wins 12%. Matt Brown will win 38 delegates, Joe Kennedy wins 33 delegates, and Kathy Hochul wins 18 delegates. And here is the county map on your screen now. Matt Brown doing very well in the Seattle urban and suburban areas of the state, doing very well there. And we can now make some withdrawal announcements. We can make 4, actually, as well as a big announcement. Governor Chris Sununu has announced that he will be withdrawing from the 2028 presidential run, and he's endorsing Ron DeSantis for president. Not surprising here, Sununu actually being quite enthusiastic about supporting DeSantis, actually, which is unexpected. Senator Ted Cruz has announced that he will also be withdrawing from the race, and he has also endorsed Ron DeSantis, though not as enthusiastically, I might have to add. Which we can now add that since there are no other candidates, former governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, will be the GOP nominee for president going into November. Many people expected this, though it was a kind of competitive primary. Sununu and Cruz kind of outbeat DeSantis in a couple areas, but by Super Tuesday 2, Ron DeSantis is the nominee. We also have some withdrawals on the Democrat side, as Governor Kathy Hochul is announcing the end of her run for president, and she is endorsing Texas Governor Steve Adler for the White House. And Senator Matt Brown has announced that he will also be ending his run, and he is endorsing Joe Kennedy. So we have a battle between Joe Kennedy and Steve Adler going forward for the Dem nomination. Out of the Northern Mariana Islands, Joe Kennedy is the projected winner, winning 66% of the vote over Steve Adler's 33%. Kennedy wins 4 delegates and Adler wins 2 delegates. Now heading into Super Tuesday 3, which could, essentially both candidates need to win all 3 in order to essentially lock up the nomination. That's essentially what's happening here. But polling suggests that's not going to happen, as in Arizona, Steve Adler is the projected winner, winning 52% of the vote to Joe Kennedy's 47%. Adler walks away winning 35 delegates and Kennedy wins 32 delegates. And here's the county map on your screen now. Out of Florida's primary, Steve Adler is the projected winner. He will defeat Joe Kennedy by 21 points in the state. Joe Kennedy getting destroyed in the state of Florida as the more moderate Dems vote for Steve Adler other than him. Steve Adler wins 132 delegates to Joe Kennedy's 87 delegates. And here's the county map on your screen now. Out of Illinois' primary, Joe Kennedy is the projected winner. This essentially saved Kennedy's campaign. Like, if he did not win Illinois, it was over. Adler would be the nominee, but Kennedy ends up winning in Illinois by 11 points, defeating Steve Adler. Kennedy will end up winning 86 delegates to Steve Adler's 69 nice delegates. And here's the county map on your screen now. Essentially, Adler destroys Kennedy downstate, everywhere outside of Chicago, essentially. But Chicago ended up saving Kennedy. And here's the delegate count at the end of March. Steve Adler leads 744 delegates to Joe Kennedy's 720. But Steve Adler is kind of in messy waters, because beyond this point, he's going to be in areas he doesn't do that well in. He does very well in the South and Hispanic-heavy areas. But other than that, he doesn't have that many strengths. So we have to see how well Adler does going into the April primaries, which is very rural states as well as the Rust Belt. That if Adler wins at least one, he's still in the running. But if he loses all four, I think it's over for his campaign. Out of Wisconsin's primary, and we're now in April, and out of Wisconsin's primary, Joe Kennedy will end up winning the state by 11 points over Steve Adler. Kennedy will win 47 delegates to Steve Adler's 37 delegates. And here's the county map on your screen now, with Kennedy doing very well with the white working class as well as suburban voters in the state. Out of Alaska's primary, Joe Kennedy doing very well with the left-leaning libertarians of the state, winning 60% of the vote over Steve Adler's 40%. Kennedy will win 9 delegates to Steve Adler's 6 delegates. And here's the county map on your screen now. Adler only winning 3 delegates, the most urban delegates in the state. Out of Wyoming's primary, Joe Kennedy, another victory for Kennedy, kind of making Steve Adler sweat a little bit, but Adler still has a lead even after this. And Joe Kennedy will end up winning by 15 points over Steve Adler, winning 8 delegates to his 6. And here's the county map on your screen. And out of Ohio's primary, essentially the nail in the coffin for Steve Adler, as Joe Kennedy ends up winning this primary. Essentially a primary that Steve Adler needed. He even got Chantel Brown's endorsement, someone who many thought was going to be his running mate. But Chantel Brown's endorsement did not help him at all, as Kennedy ends up beating Steve Adler by 11 points. Kennedy will win 75 delegates to Steve Adler's 61. And here's the county map on your screen now. Adler didn't even win Chantel Brown's district. He didn't even. He does so poorly with black voters, it's not even funny. And Governor Steve Adler, after a devastating defeat in the April primaries, is announcing he is withdrawing from the 2028 presidential race, and he is happily endorsing Joe Kennedy, saying he trusts Kennedy's ability to end up defeating Ron DeSantis in November. And we can now say that Joe Kennedy will end up winning the Democrat nomination. He was in second in the polling in the beginning of this. You remember that? He was in second. I mean, Ron DeSantis was in first, but he was in second. Everybody thought, yeah, Kathy Hochul's got this. Kathy Hochul just fucking crashed and burned. Like, she just crashed and burned. And now Joe Kennedy will end up being the Democrat nominee. And we now have announcements of both DeSantis and Kennedy's shortlist for VP. DeSantis' shortlist include former California Congressman Mike Garcia, Fort Worth Mayor Matty Parker, Oklahoma Governor and former 2028 candidate T.W. Shannon, and Nevada Senator Adam Laxalt, who is up for re-election this year, by the way. And Kennedy's 2028 shortlist involves actually, every single one of them are former candidates this year. Hawaii Governor Tulsi Gabbard, Texas Governor Steve Adler, New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, and Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar. All 4 of them were former candidates this year. Very interesting to see that he's going for former opponents. And we can now make an announcement for Ron DeSantis' running mate. He is now chosen. Ron DeSantis has selected Fort Worth Mayor Matty Parker as his running mate. He is going for suburban appeal this election. He wants someone who will help him in the suburbs. And Matty Parker, she is sweating with suburban appeal. That's kind of a disgusting analogy, isn't it? Oh boy. But DeSantis has chosen Matty Parker as his running mate, the first female Republican running mate in history. And Joe Kennedy has also picked a female. He is choosing controversial Hawaii Governor Tulsi Gabbard. Many people are wondering, why are you choosing her? But Kennedy says that he trusts Tulsi Gabbard to do what's best for the country, and that's why he picked her. Because she's stepping on people's toes. He's going to step on people's toes when he becomes president, so why not? Pick someone who will do the same thing. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a long one. Why are all these election nights just so long? But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the Chaotic One saying peace.